The dark ascent of Prussia, from obscurity to European dominance and the prelude to catastrophe. Introduction. The birth of a militaristic state. The rise of Prussia from a fragmented, insignificant territory into one of Europe's most feared military powers is a story of ruthless ambition, disciplined brutality, and calculated expansion. Unlike other European powers that grew through cultural or economic dominance, Prussia forged its identity through war, authoritarian rule, and an unrelenting emphasis on military might. This trajectory not only shaped the destiny of Germany but also set the stage for the two most devastating conflicts in human history, World War I and World War II. Prussia's legacy is one of iron and blood, a phrase immortalized by Otto von Bismarck, the architect of German unification. But long before Bismarck, Prussia was a machine of conquest, honed by the Hohenzollern dynasty, whose rulers believed in absolute obedience, militarization of society, and territorial aggrandizement at any cost. The consequences of this philosophy would echo through the centuries, culminating in the horrors of the 20th century. Now, before we move on with the story, please help a small channel grow. Like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. Okay, back to the story. The early foundations, a state built on war, 1525 to 1701. Prussia's origins lie in the Teutonic Knights, a medieval crusading order that carved out a brutal dominion in the Baltic region. By the 16th century, the secular Duchy of Prussia emerged under Polish suzerainty, but it was the Hohenzollern family's acquisition of Brandenburg in 1618 that set the stage for future expansion. The 30 Years' War, 1618 to 1648, devastated much of Germany, but Brandenburg Prussia's ruler, Frederick William, the Great Elector, used the chaos to strengthen his army and centralize power. His reign established the core principle of Prussian governance: the state exists for the army, not the army for the state. His successor, Frederick I, secured the title of king in Prussia in 1701, a symbolic but crucial step in asserting Prussia's independence. Yet, it was Frederick William I, 1713 to 1740, who turned Prussia into a militarized society. Known as the Soldier King, he obsessed over his army, drilling it into one of Europe's most disciplined forces. He instituted the canton system, which bound peasants to military service, ensuring a steady supply of soldiers. His son, Frederick II, the Great, would wield this army with devastating effect. Frederick the Great and the Cult of Expansion, 1740 to 1786. Frederick the Great's reign marked Prussia's violent ascent into the ranks of European powers. In 1740, he invaded Silesia, a wealthy province of Austria, sparking the War of Austrian Succession. His actions were not driven by necessity but by opportunism, a pattern that would define Prussian, and later German, aggression. Through the 7 Years' War, 1756 to 1763, Frederick fought against a coalition of Austria, France, Russia, and Sweden. Prussia was nearly destroyed, but Frederick's tactical genius and sheer stubbornness kept it alive. The war entrenched Prussia's reputation as a formidable military state, but it also revealed a dangerous truth: Prussia could only survive through relentless warfare. Frederick's reign also saw the codification of Prussian militarism. The Junker aristocracy, landowning nobles, dominated the officer corps, instilling a culture of blind obedience and disdain for civilian authority. The state's bureaucracy was efficient but rigid, designed to feed the war machine. The Napoleonic Wars and the rebirth of Prussian militarism, 1806 to 1815. Prussia's arrogance led to disaster in 1806 when Napoleon crushed its armies at Jena and Auerstedt. The defeat was humiliating, Berlin was occupied, and Prussia was reduced to a French satellite. Yet, this catastrophe birthed a new, even more dangerous Prussia. Reformers like Gerhard von Scharnhorst and August von Gneisenau rebuilt the army, introducing universal conscription and merit-based promotions. The Landwehr, militia, system ensured that every able-bodied man could be mobilized. Prussia's education system was also militarized, with schools indoctrinating youth in nationalism and duty to the state. At the Battle of Leipzig, 1813, and later Waterloo, 1815, Prussian forces played a key role in Napoleon's defeat. The Congress of Vienna rewarded Prussia with vast territories in the Rhineland and Westphalia, making it the dominant power in northern Germany. The Iron Chancellor and the unification of Germany, 1862 to 1871. Otto von Bismarck, appointed Minister-President of Prussia in 1862, embodied Prussian Realpolitik, ruthless pragmatism in pursuit of power. His famous Blood and Iron speech, 1862, laid bare his philosophy: Germany would be united not by speeches, but by war. Bismarck engineered 3 wars to achieve unification: the Second Schleswig War, 1864, Prussia and Austria seized Schleswig-Holstein from Denmark. The Austro-Prussian War, 1866, Prussia crushed Austria in just 7 weeks, excluding it from German affairs. The Franco-Prussian War, 1870 to 1871, Prussia provoked France into war, then annihilated its armies at Sedan. The Treaty of Versailles, 1871, proclaimed Wilhelm I as German Emperor. Prussia now dominated a unified Germany, its militaristic culture infecting the entire nation. The prelude to World War I, Prussia's toxic legacy. The new German Empire was a Prussian empire in all but name. The Junker elite controlled the military and government, while the General Staff, led by figures like Helmut von Moltke, planned future wars with chilling precision. Germany's foreign policy under Wilhelm II, 1888 to 1918, was aggressive and erratic. The Schlieffen Plan, designed to crush France before turning on Russia, assumed a swift, brutal war, a distinctly Prussian concept. When war came in 1914, Germany's militarized society embraced it with disturbing enthusiasm. World War I was the culmination of Prussia's war-first ideology. The belief in decisive battles, the disregard for diplomacy, and the glorification of sacrifice led to catastrophe. Germany's defeat in 1918 should have ended Prussian dominance, but the myth of the stab in the back, Dolchstoss legend, persisted, blaming civilians and politicians for the loss. From Weimar to Nazi Germany, Prussia's final curse, the Weimar Republic, 1919 to 1933, tried to dismantle Prussian militarism, but the old elites remained entrenched. The Reichswehr, German military, secretly maintained ties with far-right militias, including the Nazis. When Hitler rose to power in 1933, he exploited Prussia's legacy. The Nazi state idolized Frederick the Great, and the Wehrmacht, the new German army, was built on Prussian discipline. The blitzkrieg tactics of World War II mirrored Frederick's rapid strikes, but on a genocidal scale. Prussia was formally abolished by the Allies in 1947, deemed a bearer of militarism. Its heartland was divided between Poland and the Soviet Union, a fitting end for a state that had thrived on conquest. Conclusion: the dark shadow of Prussia. Prussia's history is a warning of what happens when a state becomes an instrument of war. Its culture of obedience, expansionism, and militarism poisoned Germany, leading to 2 world wars and unimaginable suffering. The Prussian spirit did not die in 1945, it lingers wherever nations prioritize power over humanity, discipline over freedom, and war over peace. In the end, Prussia's greatest legacy was not its victories, but the ruins it left behind. Thank you for watching my video. Please, like and subscribe.